that's Dorota Palicka, international nail artist and educator here, and I'm in with Sherry today. This is going to be an unusual video actually. You have never seen me doing the toes, and actually it is probably 5 or 6 years when I done them the last time. But I've got one of our regular client and she unfortunately had a wee accident. Can you tell us what's happened, Sherry?
I had 2 horses within the space of a week stand on my foot.
Oh my goodness, that must have been painful.
It was, leaving me with just luckily one bruised toenail.
It did happen at
8 months ago.
8 months ago. So 8 months ago it happened. So the toenail didn't come off yet, and we are going to remove it today because it have grown out quite a lot. Usually it takes about 12 months, guys, for the toenails to fully grow out, and that's what we are going to do today, is just remove it because it's almost there and we need to just help it. I'm shortening the rest of the toes because we want to do a nice baby boomer. I thought when we do a baby boomer, the difference is going to be a really nice and big for those toes metamorphose. And you will also enjoy it as well, because doing a baby boomer on the toes isn't as common, and I think it looks really nice and pretty. Now, when I'm filing the toes, it is really important, guys, that we do file them nice and straight, especially with someone who has a tendency for the toes to ingrow. If you make them a bit too rounded or you file them too short, they can ingrow. So it is really important filing the toenails nice and straight. Okay, so I'm just shortening them all. So they are going to be nice and comfy. And then we will also remove this one and we will put extension over it because obviously half of this nail is missing. By the way, guys, do you remember me when I have done the review on this e-file? It was ages ago. You can search it actually on my channel, and I'm still using it for the pedicures. I mean, we've got the girl switch working here as well, and it has been used constantly for all those months. For removing the hard skin and for working on the toes. So the life is really amazing for this e-file, and it's a portable one as well, which makes life much easier for you when it comes to the cables. Like, I don't like the cable, so you can see it, guys, this part is all loose. And I'm just going to keep filing it. This will be the hardest part because there is kind of like almost a bruise underneath. I don't want to clip it. I know it will take me longer to file it, but I don't want to clip it too much to don't hurt Sherry.
Fine, no pain at all.
No pain at all, I'm glad. I also got some dust collector in here as well, which I'm going to use for some parts of this video, just to make the life easier. Obviously there are parts, like, I know that I cannot file too long on the nail bed because then I will produce the heat. This is all loose, so it's not touching Sherry's nail bed, so I can file for a pretty long time without of worrying. The toenail actually underneath looks pretty nice. Actually it's even more of it than we thought, so we have got rid of quite a decent bit. It actually looks much better than you would expect, like underneath. And I also need to get rid of this part here, so I'm keep filing it. There might be some parts which will be still attached to the nail bed, and that will be the most difficult part. Oh, I've got some stuff in there. Doesn't get hot.
No.
So I'm checking which part of the toe is completely loose, and I'm filing off another part of it. And you can see it, I've got another part coming off, and that's the part where there is old blood. So I'm just going to clean it. That looks actually really good, Sherry. So this is all new nail. We've got, you can see it, it have grown quite a lot.
Yes,
so
it has.
putting extension on it is not going to be a problem at all. I'm checking now which part is still loose. So I want to file away another part of the toe. We can also file away a little bit here on the nail bed because this nail bed is fully healed. So nothing is gonna happen. It's same like if you would file the nail folds. I'm also filing away the place where there was an old bruise. It's kind of become like a wee scrap which never came off. And this is a part of the nail which is kind of attached to the nail bed more. So I need to be very careful when filing this part. Doesn't heat up. Can you feel it anything?
It's absolutely fine.
If you would start, if your client would start feeling it heating up, you could swap and push back the cuticles or do another part of the pedicure.
Better already.
It looks better already, indeed. This will also brings a relief because obviously there have been two nails, one which have detached from the nail bed and have been on top of the new nail which was growing underneath. So that will feel definitely much comfier.
Feels better already.
Because it doesn't.
It felt bruised.
So basically we're cleaning off an old nail which was not completely attached to the nail bed. And you can see this nail bed here is completely healed. When you've got those kind of situation as well, and as a client which you have never seen, things on toes looks all similar to each other. You know, the cork nails look like onychomycosis, which is a fungal infection. Bruised toes looks like a fungal infection. Diabetes toes, like there is so many different conditions which can cause thickening of the nails, discolorization, and different things going on. You would kind of take it carefully because you can be never sure. Sherry is a regular client for many years, and we know how her toes looks before accident, so it is very easy for us to judge what caused the look of the nail. And obviously you can see it here as a nice nail which is growing back, and here the pressure from the toe, two toes nails was causing a pain, so this will be very nice relief. Okay, I'm almost done with the cleaning of this old nail. Yeah, it looks much better already.
It does.
Okay, we are going to give it a quick push back to the cuticles. And a bit of rest to this toe and the e-file. I'm just filing away the cuticle which is on the nail plate using the e-file first. Sorry, the nail file, the normal nail file, and then tidy up the free edge in here, because we will need to apply some form on this tool. I'm also checking how this place, is it loose or is it attached. If it's attached, I have to leave it. I don't want to file it. If it's loose, I can still shorten it. Okay, we are going to make sure this isn't loose. And it looks like it is loose, so I would be able to remove it, but I have to do it really, yes, it is loose, because that's a part of the dead nail which have been pressing also into the nail bed, so I really want to remove it. Can you feel anything?
Nothing. Nothing at all.
It's almost deformed your nail bed because you can see it, like how bad it has been pressing there.
Mm-hmm.
feel anything?
No?
Nothing. Okay. So I keep checking constantly with my client how does it feel and how far I can file it. I'm filing the free edge a little bit as well, because if it's nicely filed, the toenail is going to attach really well to the nail bed once it grows out. It's almost like blending it out with your nail bed. Put the speed on much smaller one, and then just go last one time on the nail bed, and then we can scratch the surface of the nail and apply the nail form. I'm going to change the bead for a proper cuticle bead and clean the cuticles now. One side. Put it into the reverse and do the other side. check the shape. That looks really good. The reason why you might have it, I believe the horse stood more into this side and the nail itself is quite far deep in there.
Right.
So this part is still a little bit damaged, but most of it has came out, which is great.
Perfect, looks fantastic.
But we can sculpt a fresh nail in there. In order to sculpt the fresh nail, I'm dehydrating the nail plate with the blue scrub, like making sure it's all nice and dehydrated. I will move your feet a little bit there so we are in the camera. And then we are going to sculpt it. Obviously we wouldn't be able to, I actually got some tips guys as well for like those kind of toes. We've got like quite large tips as well, but I'm going to use the forms. And I need to cut the form so it fits in the toe. You could also do it with the polygel or the acrylics, but you don't have to necessarily cut the form. I have been just always working with the gel, and I find it pretty, I don't know, easy for me to do it this way. So I'm checking the shape of the toe, and I can see it. I need to cut out more almost on the hyponychium, and then it's going to be quite easy. First of all, the toe is quite large, so we need to cut out quite a large piece, so the form is going to go into our toe. Okay, so first of all, I'm making some room for my form so it can go nicely, and then I need to cut out like a wee triangle in there. Almost like following a shape of the toenail. I am almost there. This part I have made it a little bit too big, so I'm just going to trim it a little bit, and that's kind of the shape of my toe, so I can apply the nail form. You can see it, I have got it nicely under the free edge, and then it goes nicely under this part as well. Once I'm happy, I'm just going to close this form. We could also loosen it if we want to have a nicer scarf and more pinched toenail. I can loosen it a little bit in there. An extra nail prep, which is a nail dehydrator. Wait for it to dry. And then universal air bond, which gives us a really good adhesion of the product to attach to the nail. And then we are going to use the nail keeping pink gel, because we want the baby boomer on those nails. So that's the gel which we are going to use, and it has a really, it doesn't have a coverage, but don't worry guys, everything once it's finished it will look really really nice. We wouldn't see those darker colors. So I'm picking up a small scoop of the product, just perfect, and I'm pressing down the toe in here so I can see what I'm doing. So nice and thin layer through the entire toenail. Okay, once we've got those thin layer, we can start building the free edge. So I have pick up a small scoop of the product, and now I'm building the free edge. We really don't want to go too long. Okay, once we've got this layer done, we are going to cure it. Try to don't touch the form, so kind of hold it in the air for the first 5 seconds. Obviously you don't want to bang the form because it will change the shape, so first 5 seconds we want to hold it kind of higher so the product can cure, and then even if it's touched, it is okay. I might actually show you the other fit when we're curing because we will do some design, so that's why I'm not bothered about so it will be like a baby boomer with a wee flowery parts. That's why I'm not bothered about the bruised part, and I will show you guys how to do it. Okay, can you swap? So that's a 30 seconds cure, and now I'm going to apply another thin layer of the product. And any places which I could miss. Apex-ish, but you kind of really want to do it almost flat. You don't want them to be really thick. So just nice and thin. Perfect the shape and then cure it. So we are going to cure it for 60 seconds. In the meantime, I can just clean all the products, and then I show you how to shape it. And then we have to remove the form and shape those two. Okay, so I'm just pulling the form down. Ta-da!
Amazing.
Amazing, isn't it? Okay, let's shape it and do the part for the baby boomers. So now we need to just file it. Nice shape. You want to blend it around the cuticle area. And then buff it. So you can see it like the press on the nail bed, it will need to heal because the old nail was constantly pressing it into this place. How does it feel?
Feels
Brilliant, yeah?
magnificent.
Good.
I can't believe that I came in with a nasty looking black toenail and
they're not finished yet, so they're not pretty yet. We need to do this baby boomer on them, but
it still looks a lot better than it did.
And Cherie's going on some holiday in not long, so
28th of March going to Tenerife. So
beautifully. So yes, this will.
the sandals on.
Yes, you can show off your pretty toes. Okay, I'm just going to do it a little bit of the cuticle work. Not excessive, just where I've got some bits and pieces to remove, and then I will use for toes, because the cuticles at the toes are much more fragile. I've got a special like a rubber bead, and I quite like it, and quite often I use it more than actually cutting the actual cuticles. Mine are actually really sore getting it done, So I don't like my cuticles to be cut. I prefer using the cuticle bead, and I'm just cleaning like the skin with this cuticle bead. It is to polish the skin. We can also polish these parts underneath as well, and the entire nail fold. Okay, so I'm also buffing underneath of tools as well. This isn't a full pedicure video. I mean, for a full pedicure video, we've got a slightly different procedure, and then we are taking care of like a heels and all the hard skin, which is on the feet itself. And this is just a gel polish on toes, where we basically only take care of the toes. But even that, I still want the nail folds around the toes to look kind of decent. Okay, remove the dust and clean the nails. Use the so-called base gel. So a so-called base gel, and what I like to do it, guys, is just like slap it on like this, and then use the sponge to apply it. This is probably unusual way for you to see it, the product being applied this way. I mean, obviously try to don't touch the cuticles. So I'm using my nail to help separate the product from the cuticle, and this part of the sponge doesn't have any product on, so it's a nice and thin layer inside the lamp. Then I cure the base, and we are going to apply the gel polish, and the color I'm going to use is a light rose. It's a 213 number, and it's quite nice for like those kind of very delicate look. Okay, I take it back. We are going to also separate. Usually don't use the toe separators. I don't know why, like some people don't even need it in most of the cases. But if they do, I just tear the wipes and I just put them in between. I feel it like also it does feels a bit comfier for people to, rather than having those toes to be twisted all over the place. And then we can apply this color. I want this color to be applied in a very thin layer, and just a one thin layer. So like really thin layer. Basically as thin as possible, because I want to have almost see-through effect. Okay, so very, very thin. And I'm going to apply it at only one layer. The reason for it is straight after when we cure it, we will apply top coat over it. Okay, inside. And then buff it to be able to do the baby boomer. And then we can apply the top coat, so high shine no wipe top gel. And because you can see the toe, the big toe is kind of on its own lifting up, what I like to do it is apply the top coat here. Maybe on one more, holding the big toe down inside the lamp, and then freeze it. Even if it is 2 seconds, you are going to freeze the product and the top coat is not going to run into the big toe, because obviously usually people keep their toes this way. I take it back. Okay, and that's what's preventing, if you would do it the big toe and then you would just go and move into the other nails, it would actually make the top coat to run. Perfect inside. For the next part, we are going to need the sponge, and this is just a makeup sponge, so I just cut it into the half, and I like to use the form because I can remove any dirt, any bits and pieces of the fluff. And we are also going to use the white gel for a French manicure, which is actually absolutely awesome. And the part of the form which we have used it, the piece from the form, there we are, which we have used it, I will just place my products there so I can paint the design. But that's my toes cooked, and I can just buff them. Okay, so I can buff it nicely. The reason why you want to have it buffed is if you don't, the gel is not going to stick in as nice on the slidey surface. That's why I like to have it buffed. And I'm using 100 by 180 grit buffer, which creates a nice amount of the scratches. Clean everything. Use a dehydrator. Make sure there is no dust particle anywhere. And then we can move on into the baby boomer. So in order to do the baby boomer, we will apply the French gel. Just whatever to start with, so you just do like a wee touches of the French gel. And then using the sponge, which is on the form, we are going to blend it. And even if we wouldn't go for the design, this would cover nicely the entire extension which we have done, which I'm so happy for. But obviously, even if we wouldn't, we could still do a tiny bit of the design over it. Don't go too high. You want those pink and see-through color to be visible for baby boomer as well. For the corners, I'm touching with my sponge because I want the corners of the toes to be done as well, but at the same time I don't want to touch the skin. Perfect, inside. And then we are going to cure it for 30 seconds. In the meantime, I'm just picking up, I mean, obviously, normally I would do 1 feet, other feet, 1 feet, other feet. Actually doing on a 1 feet or on one hand is just a double time. But I just wanted to make the video a little bit shorter. I take it back. Then I'm applying slightly more pigmented on the end. And blended it a little bit. Don't go as high now because we don't want to go too high. We want the middle part done. And set the lamp. Okay, couple seconds longer when it cures, and then we'll do the next layer. So just pick up a small amount. I take it back. This is actually a really quick technique and it can be used for any color. That's what I like it about it. If you're scared you might touch the skin, you could put latex tape over it, or even cuticle oil, and then like underneath, and then when you clean it, it will nicely come off. Perfect. Inside here I'm just going to swap the next product which we are going to use, and this is going to be the D-liner brush because we want to paint some design, but we want to paint this design on top of the top coat, so it has kind of 3D feel to it. So I take it back again, and then I'm going to apply the top coat. So top coat goes over the big toe. Again, pull it down. Come the free edge. Inside. And I want to freeze the top coat for 2-3 seconds just so it doesn't run into the cuticle. I actually show you one more time, guys, the finished look, which we have done it on this one. So you can see it, we are going to go for this design. I take the other one. And then apply the top coat on the rest of them. I got too much in my hands. Come the free edge. And I think it's awesome design on the toes as well, because the toes last such a long time. And also you wouldn't be able to see the growth with it because we've got very faded pink in there. Inside the lamp. Now we can just freeze the product because the big toe had been inside the lamp for like 5-10 seconds, and now it's going to be in for another 5-10 seconds, so it will harden enough for me to do the design. And then once I will cure the design, it will fully cure the top coat. So I'm just going to pick up a small scoop of the gel into those back of the form. Just a couple scoops. And then I'm going to paint the design. Okay, I take your big tool. a big toe. Take your feet. Oh gosh, I'm terrible.
You have to have the others with it.
And now we are going to paint the design. So I'm just picking up like a blob of the product. You can see it on my brush. I've got the blob of the product. In order to pick up the blob of the product, you go like blob. So you don't drag your brush, you kind of pick up the blob this way. And then another one. Also, guys, this might be pretty cool stuff as well. Actually, I shouldn't be talking when I'm doing the design. The settings on the pedicure station, I have seen lots of complaints on the group and things like that. People complain really about their back. We are using, how would you call it, Sherry? It's a stool. We are using stools. So by using a stool, we are not bending over. I'm kind of almost sitting straight with my back. And this is awesome, guys, tip for you, for those of you who are doing lots of pedicures. Those kind of stools are pretty handy. And then we've got just a pedicure chair here, which we can change the height of the chair, and we can change the height of the feet. It wasn't actually expensive stuff to buy it. I mean, of course, you can have those fancy ones for a few £1,000s, but this one was quite good priced, and also it's quite comfy to work on. Now, there are type of swirly works I love to do, and I think on toes, like it looks so pretty, because usually on the toes we put some stuff which is like a darker colors, or we don't do many of the designs. I love it where they've got some design. I think it looks just amazing. So I just need to cure it inside. 60 seconds cure, and then I can show you the final look. And I hope, guys, you have really enjoyed this video. Please hit the share button for me. Please, please, please. We are going to, I promised Sherry that I'm going to give her a nice flowers when we get lots of views. Because it's a different type of the video. So yeah, you have to share it for me, please. And also, because you will ask me this question as well, I'm sure you will ask me this question as well, guys. So this wasn't like a full pedicure, but if we're doing a full pedicure, cameraman will kill me now for doing this. Oh, sorry, I'm using Belava pedicure balls, and they're awesome because you've got like a removable lining in there, and after each use you can just bin it after each client, which is awesome, so you don't have to bother about the disinfection of the balls and things like that. Like, it's really good idea. Same like a files and things like that, we just bin it after each client. Of course, like I can't imagine like disinfecting the file and then use on another client. Okay, I'm just cleaning Sherry's toe. Can we go? Oh, perfect. So I'm just cleaning Sherry's toes from any dust particles. Also, I didn't like this toe, so you can still touch it a little bit as long as you don't go at this angle, but you go kind of underneath. Make it perfect, clean it, and then apply the cuticle oil or a lotion, whichever you prefer to use. And then we can take a beautiful thumbnail picture. I'm going to take the gross one, like, so it will be both of the toes on the picture. Before and after. Okay, so I'm just massaging this cuticle oil, but yeah, this toe.
I don't think anybody will believe you this.
It looks so much nicer.
It does.
Okay, guys, we are sending you both this time lots of glittery hugs, and I hope you have enjoyed this video. Bye!